Hey everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. And the first story is really relevant for both Bitcoin holders and XRP. And for the middle section of this video, I have a few current stories, but the last story is an IBM release that just came out today. And I think it could maybe give us some insight as to what is coming on Tuesday, the 19th in Singapore. But let me get myself down to a more reasonable size and off to the side. And we start with this article that came out on Saturday the 9th. This is Siamak Masnavi. And if you don't follow him on Twitter, I'm going to be another one of those YouTubers that say you need to follow him on Twitter. But he's fast. He gets his stories written incredibly fast. So his timing is one of the best. And he is always on the space that talks about very relevant information. And in this story, he tells us that the financial historian Niall Ferguson was very wrong about Bitcoin. So this gentleman, who is very renowned, he is Oxford educated, a British financial historian. He was named actually one of the 2004 Time magazine's most influential people, and admitted that he was very wrong to think that Bitcoin would turn out to be a complete delusion. So he has been taught at Cambridge, in Oxford, and also Harvard. He published a book in 2008 called The Ascent of Money, A Financial History of the World, that was later adapted for a television documentary, a 5-part documentary, and it won the 2009 International Emmy Award for the best documentary. So people are very much paying attention to this gentleman, what he says. And the comments that he made about Bitcoin came on Tuesday night, March 5th at an evening while he was speaking at a dinner as part of the Australian Financial Review Business Summit held at the Hilton Hotel in Sydney. And he said, I was very wrong to think that there was no use for a form of currency based on blockchain technology. And it goes to my next story, because if we are lacking education, it doesn't make for a good combination in the crypto space. And here we have Joe Saz. And wow, I want to just say thank you very much, Joe, for what you did. You are very important, especially since you were so kind to engage in a 2-hour conversation with a very important person in the XRP community, and his name is Matt Hamilton. So Joe is a Bitcoin maximalist. I mean, as hardcore as they come. And here you can see Matt, who is a software developer. He works for IBM and he has his master's in engineering, computer science. This was a very educational, non-combative, and professional 2-hour discussion. I finally had a chance to listen to the whole thing yesterday, and I highly recommend both Bitcoin holders and holders of XRP to watch this discussion or roundtable that they had. Overall, Joe says we need to put our weapons down and continue the educational process, because the lack of knowledge and misinformation is really bad. And they both agree that the recent article written by Jason Bloomberg, he is a contributor for Forbes, that he ignored the facts. And they both made an agreement that that particular article was really unfortunate. I put together a video and addressed it, but unfortunately, those kind of articles put out with misinformation have legs, and people believe, unfortunately. So this is a great 2-hour discussion with two people who have different views on the space, but can now come much closer together based on facts. And next article is Hester Pierce. She is the crypto mom. She's one of my favorites in the industry. She is a SEC commissioner, and she says that the crypto markets should self-regulate when possible. And I couldn't agree more, because the Japanese Virtual Currency Exchange Association has done just that. It was back on October 24th when all the exchanges together here got together and created this association. And in the beginning, I was not skeptical, but I just thought, well, really, how much are they going to do? Or is it just going to be another pin on the lapel that they can wear? But no, they have, as a group, responded to media reports. They have created guidelines. They have published statistics. They communicate with a common voice, especially when it comes to cautioning the users when, for example, it had the BCH fork, and most recently the Ethereum upgrade. And right now they're working on a solution or an agreement to all be in line with margin trading. So I think that this was great advice. I don't know how the rest of the world takes it on. Maybe country by country is one way to think about it, but I do believe there is merit to go down that road. When you self-regulate, the government, it has a lighter hand, and they are less apt to step in and make also wrong decisions and create an environment that's not best for the users. So I do think Japan is a perfect example for everyone to follow in that regard. And here we have one more security. So on the Coin Post today, there is another security article, and it's a problem with GMO. They are experiencing some bad actors that are getting passwords and IDs through phishing, and it's being done very interestingly. So I saw this example and I couldn't figure it out. I knew that this was the example that they used where you could get spoofed. So WeLiveSecurity.com, and the bottom one, WeLiveSecurity.com. For nearly 2 minutes, I couldn't see the difference. I finally did. I won't tell you, but if you can figure it out, put the comment down in the section below. I'm curious. I would have been spoofed because I couldn't see it. So these bad actors just keep coming. All right, here is the big release today from IBM. They had a press release just a few hours ago, and the CULedger and IBM announced a collaboration to deliver blockchain services for financial cooperatives and credit unions worldwide. Okay, let me take you through the important points here. So the Credit Union Service Organization, CULedger, announced today this collaboration, and they are going to pioneer new blockchain-based services. It's going to be a permissioned blockchain technology to create an immutable audit trail that can be used to create new business models and transform existing businesses. The credit union industry serves more than 260 million members. So worldwide, there is over 1.7 trillion in the circulating assets. And the permissioned blockchain services, which they will all share among these credit unions as a collective whole, is going to provide the services of identification, authentication, and lending and payments. So we need to understand that this will make that single entity credit union more competitive within this space. And the credit unions, when they share this support, it allows the members to conduct transactions among credit unions within the network, and the blockchain technology will help address consumer demands for safe, faster, and more efficient transactions. So let's take a look at the CULedger company. here they are here. And as you can see on their front page, they say they are a builder of innovative blockchain-based products for credit unions and their members. It was this bottom of the page with the interview from the president, John Ainsworth, that really made sense for me. So this is a time that these credit unions are taking a digital journey. There's going to be more change in the next 3 years than we've seen in the last 20 years, according to John Ainsworth. And through the collaboration, as the credit union stands alone as one entity, they're not so impactful, but with 200 million members and 60,000 cooperatives globally, if they work together, it becomes a very powerful force. And this company is going to help them on their digital journey in being able to speak and work inside a common environment. So it will provide blockchain, sovereign ID, and provide inclusion for their customers. And what I didn't know is that there are so many millennials who are in shared economies. And what that means is that they are in share houses. So they're living with 3, 4, 5 adults. And if you don't rent the house, then on the books, on the record, you don't have any address. And you might work 2 jobs or 3 jobs and you have no car. So this customer has a very difficult time to be included into the financial system by banks. Sometimes they're turned away, but credit unions are very, very aware of this customer and they service that group. So they will be in an alpha beta phase for now. But the reason why I brought this to light is because I talked about yesterday in Singapore on the 19th, Jesse Lund from IBM Blockchain and Jed McCaleb are going to share the stage, and Jed is the #1 premier speaker at this event in Singapore that starts on the 19th. It goes until the 21st. And they have a huge announcement. And that has already been kind of let out of the bag that they have a big announcement. And the fact that the 2 of them together are on stage and Jed is the #1 premier speaker, there's something big coming down the pipe. And so I thought maybe because of this announcement today, possibly they are going to roll in the Stellar Lumens digital asset to also be able to provide that frictionless portion of the payments. Possibly. I don't know. This is my speculation. This is not something I have read. I am just putting together the facts that there is going to be that shared stage on the 19th in Singapore, and also this release with the collaboration with CULedger just came out today with IBM. So it does possibly lead us down that path that this is going to be the announcement. I don't know, but we have to see. And the point is, we sometimes wonder, you have to have a very good poker face in business. Sometimes you can't let on why you are going to do something or what you're doing. You have to keep your cards very close to your chest, and having a good poker face is quite important. Today, I was listening to Brad Kimes in his live stream, and he talked about how Fidelity has been mining Bitcoin since 2015, I think, and who would have ever figured that? I don't think anybody had any idea. So they were able to really move in the space without showing their cards. And when we have a company that makes a decision, and sometimes we have a tendency to go, well, that was really stupid. Why didn't they figure that out before? Why in the heck are they doing that? Well, we are only able to know so much. We are only told what we are what they want us to know, and we don't have all the facts. So just always keep that in mind, that there are a lot of poker faces going on. There's a lot of cards being held close to the chest, and the decisions that seem pretty ridiculous from a outside point of view very often have some strategic move on the backside. So that was just my soapbox for today. All right, I'm jumping to the fluff, everybody, and we're talking about playing cards. So in Japan, there is a card game called Karuta, and it actually was brought to Japan from the Portuguese traders back in the 16th century. So there were only a few countries that could trade with Japan. At that time, they had a closed country, but the Portuguese, some Korean trading and some Chinese trading was allowed down near Nagasaki. And this game that the Portuguese taught the Japanese at the time developed into a very, very popular game called Karuta here. It is the martial arts on the mat. That's what it is referred to. And here is what the cards look like. There are 200 cards in a set, and you basically divide them into two sets, and they have traditional poems written on the card. And what you do, let me show you a picture here of, there you go. So you are with an opponent, and it requires agility, definitely memory, and a very strong competitive spirit. So all the cards are torifuda, which means face up, and a poem is sung by a reader. And the first person to get rid of all their cards by either slapping it down or swiping it off wins. And the game starts to be played very early in Japan, like elementary school. But by the time you get to university level, it becomes a very serious competition. So let me see if I can just quickly, here is an example, and just have a quick listen. Fast, huh? Really fast. So that is an example of how the game is played. Both men and women sometimes played against each other. Keio University here in Tokyo, which is the oldest private university, one of the premier universities in this country, they have a very competitive, serious team, and it's quite famous. So anyway, I hope you get a chance to watch it. You can search on YouTube. You can find a lot of competitions. And I just couldn't help but share this picture because I am I'm a person who loves cats, and I wish I could teach my cats to play. Okay, everybody, that's all I have for you today. Do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.